Welcome, guys. We just love Pulp Arts, and we're here to big you up. We are launch left, and we love what you're doing. What's cool about you guys is you've really kept your community together, and you've kept your, I don't even want to call it employees, but your colleagues and the people that you're working with, creative. And that's really what we're about, is talking to artists and artist helpers and how artists help me. I know you both are artists, and Michael, I know that you mixed the Capes single that just came out on Launch Left, and have been a long time artist, guitarist, mix engineer, and helper of artists for so many years, myself included. And so I really just wanted to have you on the show and share what a cool space you have and what you've been doing there. And then Davis, I know, interestingly enough, you played bass on Fun Killer's track, which comes out Sunday on Launch Left. It's our second. So those two artists right there that Launch Left is releasing directly relate to Pulp Arts and to the work that you've been doing. So thank you for championing good art and making it a priority. Who else can you share with us that you think is exciting? Can you share with us some of your favorite, because you're working with so many artists that are local to Gainesville, and give them a big up while we give you a big up?
Somebody that stands out to me too is Evan Galbeca. He has been doing a landscape project here. He calls it an ecological artwork. So he's a sculptor and an artist, and we brought him on last year to sort of make our 1.5 acre property just a really nice place and inspiring place to be. And Michael and I both love plants, and so he's been doing a really amazing just landscape of the whole property. He actually just kicked on this really beautiful fish pond yesterday for the first time. And it just really makes the property feel really finished, and also just really lovely to sit by the garden. And I think that's just super important in between, kind of being in a studio that doesn't really have any daylight, and it gets sort of intense when you're working on your art all day. But to be able to go out there and just sit in a peaceful place with plants is a big part of the process, I think.
Yeah. Anyone else? Tubbs, you have an artist that's on your compound that you're really impressed with, or they're either music or mixed media or any of the...
Well, we're getting the Bears and Lions back in here, I think, in June. It's maybe a test case to see if we can do studio.
Right.
Those guys are always a ton of fun.
They're great, yeah.
Just Gainesville is just such a rich musical environment, and always has been. That some of the things we were excited about that we're not going to be able to follow through are University of Florida projects, recording some of their big bands. That's not tenable right now. But Gainesville is just it's a great feeder city. If you're creative in the area, you come to Gainesville, you figure your act out, then hopefully you go to a bigger city and do your thing. And it was important for us. I don't think Davis and I are either hippies, but if you spend enough time around them, so if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck. So the whole idea of community is important here, and that's something that we wanted to kind of focus that. Most of the studios have been one person operations, which is very cool, and that's more the market here. But we think that if you give a creative person access to a powerful set of tools and you help them facilitate that, they can make really important things for themselves and hopefully for others. But it was bringing the materials here and the opportunity here to do this is just, it's a little bit crazy, and that's probably why we've stuck with it, because it's just But to answer your question, the Bears and Lions, that's who I'm excited about. Those
Well, I
guys.
really liked how, actually, I really enjoyed how you went off and because you contextualized a lot more in that. So thank you for actually expounding. And I
What the
love
hell we're doing here?
I love Bears and Lions, and honestly, there's a lot of kids that need to hear their music and their parents. So it's such great kids' music because it's really elevated and fun for whole families to listen to. So for our listeners and watchers, if you're looking for good children's music, it's actually quite adult. It's called Bears and Lions, and highly recommend. They're pretty much, I think, everywhere on streaming platforms, and that's cool that you are having them come back in. We used to live in a time way back when, it's been a long time, you know, where patrons of the arts were a thing, and where more obviously, and where artists were allowed to be artists, right? And they were respected just for creation. Sorry, so please.
No, let me interrupt. I think that's probably, like, in our discussions of like, what is the future going to look like? That has sort of been one of the strong winds blowing, is that model of like, maybe we're not a commercial facility, maybe we're a nonprofit facility, and maybe we focus more on being patrons and facilitators than middlemen in the process. I mean, it's really exciting in that things that were never, we were constrained by where we were, that we wouldn't have said that's just too risky. But now that's sort of, it's, you know, whatever we thought we were doing in February isn't going to be what we're doing in August. So in that respect, it's a strange kind of freedom.
Yeah.
It's a shame the shadow over it all, but it's I mean, I hope we do well with this. It's I mean, I'd be lying to say that I'm not nervous every morning, like, what are we gonna do? I think we have like created a little arc here of creative people and trying to keep everybody hopeful and healthy. But who knows? But you know enough artists, Rain, that it's like that's gonna happen irregardless. So as long as we can safely provide, you know, a canvas, we're gonna try and keep doing this.
Do you have any sort of additional comments before we sign off?
There's a freedom in not having to, or not that we would have to, but not sort of feeling those commercial drives that I would feel to like really push on to create sustainability. So I'm actually really excited to work on projects that don't necessarily have an immediate commercial application, because I think that's where all good art is made. You know, anybody who's making art directly to serve the profit motive is probably making really bad art. I think there's just an inherent truth. So I think that, you know, it's this situation has sort of like taken a little bit of that American, like, you know, make money like mentality out of the equation. And so yeah, I'm really excited to explore some of the things we've been talking about. We've been kind of talking about doing like a kind of a wacky public access style show where we host bands or a live DJ, and you know, with like kind of off the wall interludes, things like that. And that's considerably more fun to me than making, you know, a commercial for AT&T or something like that, you know. Which, yeah. Like I said, it's not that we didn't have the choice to do it before. It's that this situation like recontextualizes what is important, you know.
What your spaces are and what you guys can accommodate there for artists and
companies. Sure. Well, we're, you know, first and foremost a recording studio. designed the space to record bands. So that is, you know, the space is big. The space's biggest strength. But you know, we put in video infrastructure early on, so we're going to utilize that, and we have utilized it in the past some. And in the back we have a big fabrication shop. We were actually, when this whole thing happened, we were right in the middle of building set pieces for Cirque du Soleil, and that's like totally on hold. And whether or not Cirque du Soleil will even survive this has become an unknown. So yeah, it's a pretty simple wood and metal shop, but you know, we can get a lot done back there. And then we have some shipping container artist studios in the back, 6 individual spaces, and we have just some freelance artists renting some of those spaces, and then our team uses some of those spaces as well for production and for office.
Fantastic. Well, I've personally been there and seen it. It's a beautiful space, so beautifully designed. And thank you for creating this service for artists and championing artists, and, you know, making great music and mixing great music and playing on great music. Appreciate both your time. I know that you're trying to get back in the swing of things over there. And yeah, thanks for being on Launch Left's Big Up episode with us. Thumbs way up.
Thanks for
Thumbs up, Brian.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
Bye.
Congratulations on Capes and Fun Killer.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.